Hi. Gravel by California here at the Pilot Rock staging area, getting ready to head into the San Bernardino Mountains up to Crestline. Brendan Lee on our Facebook page earlier this week set everything abuzz by showing off this route. We were headed to the Big Bear area anyways, and this was actually closer, it's actually shorter, and hopefully radder. We mapped out a 40-mile loop with the Pilot Rock Truck Trail and Cleghorn Pass as the main dirt attractions. We knew the views would be fantastic, but what would be packed into those miles was the unknown. The first couple miles up the Pilot Rock Truck Trail are relatively tame, and views of Silverwood Lake are worth rubbernecking for. As evidenced by the tire tracks, it's clear early on that you'll be sharing the road with a lot of gas guzzlers. Or, should I say, sharing with you, as there are just dozens we had to contend with. The good news is even though there are a number of bypasses to choose from, it should be pretty evident which ones require 4x4 action. As you start to gain elevation, you get a broader view of the dense collection of trees to the south. Instead, Pilot Rock is a lot more exposed, which I guess is a good thing to help you spot oncoming traffic. Stats-wise, most of the grade sits in the high single digits, which is palatable for gravel rides. But you have to factor in how much of this road has been ground down by all these dirt diggers. It's just sandy enough to transform a tempo climb into a bit more of a grind that keeps you in the saddle all the time. Did I mention the off-road vehicles yet? As much as you want to be in the forest, looking north to Victor Valley, you realize you're riding in a transition zone between the desert and forest, as there is not a lot of shade to share. After 9 miles of climbing, you get a bit of a reprieve with some downhill and shady conditions, which are reaffirmed by the number of people just hanging out. At mile 10, you make your first route adjustment, taking a right turn onto Tunnel Road, where we never saw a tunnel. You hit a fork after a short distance, and it's obvious by the signage take the non-motorized vehicle route. But just a little more steep, as if someone kept slowly sticking nails into us. It took some meandering and Google Map referencing, making us miss whatever views of Lake Arrowhead to the east. But the conditions didn't make us finish off this dirt on a high note. Wiggling our way out, we were glad to hit pavement, even though we were slapped with steepness. Passing 5,800 feet, the high point of the day's ride, at least we started getting some return on investment for all that climbing, with the fun 3 miles making our way down to Lake Gregory. Rolling by this reservoir and recreation area, you enter the heart of Crestline, which is a proper spot for a break. We were eager to get out of town to make up some time, and zigzagged our way on the back streets to avoid Highway 128 and to get to our next segment.
Here we go.
Thumbs up, Sam. All right.
Halfway there, 4 hours in.
Thumbs down. Oh! It's a perfect time to recap here at the halfway point. Vic conveniently is having a mechanical. So far, I think that starting at the bottom is a good move because it's good that we got that climb out of the way early. I'd hate to have to go up there. It's a little sandier than we had hoped. We still know what we have ahead of us, so hopefully not as bad. It didn't take long going to the western edge of Crestline, as things went from rural to sparse. I even got the chance to catch up with my gramming, as Vic's tubeless problem was the gift that kept on giving. How adept are you at tubeless repair?
I'm a pro.
What type of pro?
Professional.
With a little group second guessing and cross-referencing, we were semi-confident we were legal and on the right path up Monument Peak to continue our journey. Even though I knew this was just a 1.2 mile climb to the Cleghorn connector, the talk early on was about turning back. The climb was steep and loose and just frustrating as bugs took out even more bites every time you dismounted. When we finally hit the junction, the road looked like an improvement, and we didn't have enough functioning brain cells to properly assess whether we should be turning back. Apparently, we climbed for another mile, and then it was mostly downhill from there, but just more bumpiness than we wanted to handle at the time. And when that let up, the dirt was likely loose. On paper, I thought we'd be enjoying all the views. But we kept repeating our rallying cry.
Best gravel in SoCal.
Could you sense the sarcasm? And then once again, there was a climb. And vehicles again. You can see from the sweat dripping down my sunglasses. I'm waiting for this last descent to happen. We're here at Cleghorn Pass. I guess you can go over the other way to the 15, but looks like we've got about 10 more miles of downhill. And cars passing too. Our prior bird's eye view of the last 3 miles of dirt just beyond Cleghorn Pass made it look tame. But you can't always control your reality. We couldn't help the higher speeds, but the bumpiness really wasn't welcomed at this point. Your whole body got a workout, as every muscle and joint played a larger role than your bike in the suspension process. Couple that with keeping your head up in case Evel Knievel was heading our way. Hitting the pavement at mile 33 felt like a great sense of relief. Turning onto Highway 128, we were glad that it was wide enough that at least we didn't have to worry about vehicles coming up. as we finished off our last stretch of descending for the day. With 3 miles left, we returned on the narrower Highway 173, not appreciating the ranch life as much, knowing that we had a burdensome 3/4 mile climb back up to the parking lot. Fun times. Today was still a fun adventure, but not as fulfilling as we had hoped.
He hit the first guy, and then the first guy got fucking pissed and went up to him, and the whole group stopped and surrounded the truck.
At the end, the ride ended up being 40 miles and over a mile of climbing. When you revisit the numbers, you realize the ride is a lot tougher than that. Because of its inconsistent conditions, this ride definitely punches above its weight. Please subscribe. Vic's already on his way out. I have more great insight on rides like this. Something like this.